Okay, getting ready to start the install. Made some marks where I want to drill the holes and where the wires will go through the wall. A box for all that is going to fall, and obviously this thing to drill the center hole through the wall. And then, yep, I don't have those type of cutting tools, the cylindrical ones that directly cut the whole thing. I will just drill some holes all around and yeah, make my way through the bricks. But anyway, let's get to it because it will take a bit of time and be really messy. Ten minutes later, and yep, that was concrete, and a bit of brick, and brick. So we moved the whole thing lower so we don't deal with a lot of concrete, and in theory, yep, we can see the light. So let's drill all around and make this a hole for the pipe. Okay, getting ready to crack all of these things and make a round hole through this. And it went quite easy in these bricks because, as you can see, they are full of holes inside. They are the insulator type. As you can see, making quite good progress, and it's going real smooth with this thing. So let's finish it off. Okay, we are on the outside now. With this cordless drill, we will drill all around this to make a hole. Done. Cut this pipe to the correct length. This thing will go on the outside. It seems to have 4 places to put screws in the wall. It will be a bit tricky for me. I might actually end up simply gluing it in place, or maybe sticking it to this pipe, which in its turn is glued to the wall. Just want to add that this thing is real bad quality. This is the brand that this is also. Yeah, not happy with it at all, but anyway, let's put it on the wall and that's about it. Not much that I can do now. Okay, for me, I will use this kind of putty, probably it's called, just to seal all around this thing, but I'm not going to use screws because this enters into this pipe extremely tight, so I barely managed to put it in the pipe, and the pipe is really tight in the hole that I made in the wall. So if I push this thing from the outside, it's impossible for them to ever move outwards. So yeah, this doesn't even need to glue, just to be there as a gasket. And yeah, obviously I will seal on the inside, but that's to be done next. So let me go outside and put this in the wall. Ended up also putting 4 screws directly through this thing, and yes, they do screw in directly in the wall, weirdly enough. So now let's put this thing back in place and we should be done on the outside, but cannot do this with one hand. Okay, and the outside is done, and everything else that needs to happen is on the inside. Okay, for the moment the inside is also okay, and yeah, this whole wall needs to be finished up, this filled up, and then we will come with the fan on top of this thing. Ooh, you can feel a draft, it's really windy and cold outside. So for me, in a few days, for you, right next. Getting ready to install this thing right there. Yes, we installed something else and the hole got a little bit damaged, but this still fits in there. Just make sure that you do not squeeze on it, because if you hit the blades, this thing will not rotate anymore. So it needs to go in freely into the hole. and I will, this just pops out. This is just a cover held in place with 4 clips, 2 on the bottom and 2 on the top. I will disable this button because I'm using this to control it, also from vents, so it doesn't make sense to have 2 pull cords, and this one can also control humidity and other things, and motion obviously. So this will be removed, and I will enter with my wires right through here and route them up to here. I will not enter where they decided from the factory. And this is the little servo motor that opens the blades when this thing is running, and this is just to show us that it's running, a little neon light. So let me do the modifications and get back to you. Did something else in the end, just undid this, made sure the switch remained in the on position, and it's just bypassed. It's always on, so it will do whatever the wires from this thing tell it to do. It's easier like that. So let's install this thing. I will put it in the hole mark with a marker, drill the holes, and then attach it permanently to the wall. In the end, I will glue this thing in place because nothing is able to drill through this. You can see what happened here, so I'm giving up and I'm just gluing it. Luckily it will cover most of this error here. Okay, being unable to drill through this thing, yes, you can still see the corner right down there that I damaged. I will repair it a bit better. I ended up actually gluing this thing and also this thing with this fixole from Sudal. Come on, rotate. Rotate, I'm saying you. Sudal fixole turbo. So yeah, should be all good. I will wait for it to dry, and yes, I messed up the connection because I connected directly the fan from this switch, so I could turn it on only by this switch and off, but I actually need to come with these wires into this control unit, and from the control unit come in here. So yeah, through that I will cut a little bit of a gap in this area. This one already has it, this doesn't, for me to come with the wires through there. In theory I have the connections made, so I have voltage coming through here, red and blue, line in here, neutral in here, and M2, M1, M2 going to the fan itself, which, as you remember, this is always on. I've also set this to always on and gave up on the pull cord. In theory, as I said, the dip switch is here. I have the motion sensor that will activate this thing and it will stay on for about 10 minutes. And also when I have humidity, camera focus, at about 70%, it will work again. But these dip switches are kind of tricky. As you can see, both of them here show humidity and this one shows motion. Hopefully they are okay and it will work. And until I'm sure that this is properly working, just want to tell you, the PCB is held on to the frame itself only with this screw. If you undo this, the PCB comes out. So that's out of the way. Until I'm sure that I've set up this thing the correct way, and it will work exactly how I want, I'm only going to put the cover on the top one, and this will be coverless, but it's really high, so impossible to electrocute yourself with it. And yeah, let's hope for the best and give this thing a bell and hope it runs. And yeah, I will need to do a bit of filing. I did a bit of cutting to enter the wires through here. There are 4 wires, and for the lower one they are perfectly level. For the higher one, not 100% level, but I will do a bit of filing into the frame so it all fits. Okay, and I actually clipped it on by mistake fully, so I hope the settings are okay. If not, I need to unclip it. As you can see, this I was wondering why doesn't it go up against the wall. Well, this is the design of it, so you can unclip it. Presumably, weirdly enough, this one goes directly against the wall. But anyway, and there we have our wires. Quite impossible, honestly, to see them from a different angle. 100% impossible. Yes, I need to put in this little screw in here, and yeah, we have the slit where the wire came out that's not used anymore. And with my setup, this is the on-off kill switch, to say like that, and when it's on, this and humidity should control the fan itself, so movement and humidity. We will see, hopefully it works. I will show you in the manual exactly what settings they tell you that this accepts. I used one that doesn't really exist in the manual, that's why I'm not sure if it will work or not. Overall, this seems well built, but it does have a few problems. It was quite hard to get the wires from this to this. Probably they were meant to go through a wall, although why did this thing then have a cut for them, but this didn't. So yeah, it's a bit weird. Anyway, let's see how it works. This is the manual for the sensor itself. I will try and let you read it. I have the version right here, BU-1-60. And in the moment we should be getting to, as you can see, this is their intended use. Exactly as I mounted it. Weirdly enough, they don't have very good integration between these two products. So yeah, this is the way you install it in theory. It shows you maximum detection range for the movement, obviously. The potentiometers that you adjust, and the deep switches, all the settings for them. And again, there is no setting for exactly what I did. I adjusted moisture and time setting, and I kept on in theory the movement detection and moisture, but hopefully they will play nicely. And this thing is bought about 4 years ago, and I just didn't have a place to use it. I wanted to use it in a particular place. I gave up, and now I have a new place for it where I actually did install it. So let's see if it works properly. Backtracking on this, my bad. Actually both of them on means movement. Like it was now, it was just working on humidity. It saw movement, so this LED would light up, but it didn't activate it from movement. So this deep switch needs to go up. So now we have about 60 to 70% humidity and movement for about 10 minutes. And that should be it. Now I'm putting this thing back. And yes, a really cool thing, I will show you this. I thought it's a servo motor that activates these things. No, I think it's actually a kind of piston with wax in it. Something like the thermostat in a car, for example. So it has two entries for voltage, and it will start to heat up, and the wax will dilate, and it will start to push the piston down, which in turn activates this, because this gives the okay, the fan starts spinning, but this is still closed, and it takes half a minute for them to open. And when the fan is actually closed, this doesn't have a voltage anymore, and takes about half a minute to a minute for it to close slowly. So it's kind of cool and fail-proof in my opinion. So yeah, let's put this and give this a test. Just wanted to let you know there's another trick to this thing. This switch, when it's set to detect movement, can actually override everything, and if it's on, the fan will always work even without detecting movement. But if it's on humidity, this will not override it. So that's a bit weird, but anyway, so if you want only sensors automatically controlling this thing, make sure this is off, so you have no continuity between that and that. Yes, you could even remove the wires and switch all together, but I prefer to let it in the off position. And yeah, now in theory, let's see, it will start, and in about 5 seconds, if I remain still, which is kind of hard, it should be off. Idiot me, I was waiting in vain. I forgot I actually set it to about between 10 and 15 minutes. So let me set it to 5 seconds, and now let me try and remain still for 5 seconds, and it should turn off. And now if I move, but it needs to detect more movement, so not only subtle movements, you can see that lighting up, but it didn't directly start until it detected more movement, or for a bit of a longer period of time. So just, I don't know, a brush falling down, it will not start it. It needs to be a door opening or a human movement or something like that. So yeah, it works like this. If I turn this to make it start at lower humidity, you will see the green LED start, but I don't want that. I will put it back to where it was, about 60%. And now I will also turn this thing to about, I don't know, 12 minutes or something like that, after it detects movement. And yeah, so make sure this is in the off position, so it will not bother you with your settings. And yes, obviously don't work on it like I did now with the power on. I highly do not recommend that. So off, and I will put back the cover. And yeah, the fact that they didn't properly integrate these modules to work one with the other, it's a fail in my opinion again. But the products themselves separately are awesome. When you use them together, it's a bit annoying. Okay, everything is back together, and from here I will turn on everything. This is like a fail-safe for if you really want it to be off for sure. As you could see, it gave it the command to start from movement. The humidity LED is not on, so we are not above the humidity threshold. Before it was only working with humidity, now it's working with movement, and you can see that LED. Maybe if I stay perfectly still, it will turn off, but if I wave my hand, it's on. And you can see it's not open up yet, and it will slowly begin to open up when that thing heats up. Now it's starting to open up. So it's quite cool. And honestly, it's quite silent, the fan itself, so yeah, perfectly happy with it. And now it's fully open. You can see right through it. And if I turn it off, forced, you can see it's not closing immediately. It will take a while, although it doesn't have a voltage anymore. It will close slowly. As you can see, it's starting to close now, but really slowly. And you can hear a faint plastic tick. And it's almost closed. As you can hear, this thing is working, and not only from my movement, but also from the humidity, because I just finished the first shower in this work in progress bathroom, and it noticed the higher humidity, and I will just monitor to see if it will stop when this decreases under the set limit. But up until now, it's doing exactly what it should be doing, which is awesome. And yes, obviously it's open, but you cannot see from this angle, which is even cooler because you don't see any hole in the wall while it's doing its thing. Okay, so I want to report this thing is working exactly as expected, and the humidity LED stays on until I see about 70% on this humidistat. So that's good enough for me in this particular situation. I'm not going to adjust anything, and that's about it also for this video. I recommend you get this product. It does exactly what it says it does, and it's quite good for a bathroom or a kitchen or a work area if you want to vent that, get fumes out of it. So, as always, if you need something, feel free to ask in the comments, and see you in the next one. Bye.